Dear learner, you have to complete your task. If you do not complete your task, you cannot go on social media. Once there's some certain time and period in my house, I collect all the tabs and tablets and phones for my children. If I want this food time, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you submit your appliances. Nobody has 36 hours, but your 24 hours can become 36 hours, can become 48 hours if you use it wisely.
Good morning and welcome to another interesting episode of TTS Initiative Podcast 11. And as we do it, we bring in experienced and interesting guests, people with the knowledge, not just the knowledge, but also the experience, to teach us and take us through life and share some of their experiences on some unique and topics. On today's episode, we have another guest. She's experienced. She's been running and coaching and counseling young youth and teenagers for some years now. Okay, so please welcome with me an educator, a coach, and a counselor, Dr. Tulo Asuma. Dr. Tolu Asuma, it's nice to have you here.
Thank you. It's great to be here. You are doing a fantastic job. Thank you for all you're doing to help our teenagers get better, learn better, and all that you're doing to make the society a better place. It's great to be here this morning.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Tulo Asuma. It's nice to have you here. Okay, so what we're speaking on is something that is very interesting. Okay, so today we're talking about something that has to do with learning. And over the episodes that we've had in the past, we've been able to look at learning, how to learn better, how to retain knowledge and stuff like that. But today we're looking at navigating social media and online learning, how to study, and get along with the online processes, considering the distraction, the whole social media distraction and the general platform, right? So, Dr. Tolu, I would first like to ask you this question. What is online learning? I know that we know that anything that has to do with online is internet, but what is online learning?
Okay, great. That's fantastic. I love this topic because really, this is 21st century and we're struggling, trying to help our children, our pre-teenagers, our teenagers manage their time well, manage how to learn with all those distractions here and there. So when we talk about online learning, we have two words, online and learning. So what is learning to start with? Learning is the process of acquiring knowledge, skills, competencies, right? So learning can happen either physically or online. So talking about online, we're saying that when we acquire knowledge, skills, and competencies through digital platforms and internet-based tools, either in real time or at our own pace, right? And it's relevant today because education, like every other sector, has evolved and has adapted to the digital age. The COVID-19 pandemic accelerated this shift, and it has made virtual classrooms really a big thing now. I can tell you that I have students, I have teenagers who I coach who are not even in Nigeria. They are in the UK, they're in the US, they're in the diaspora, and we can learn. For example, you have a 14-year-old in Lagos who can even take coding classes from MIT instructors through different platforms. And this was impossible some 2-3 decades ago, right? So we can say online learning has come to stay. It has come to stay as long as there's internet. And in this digital age, really, everybody has internet, everybody has a smartphone.
All right, thank you for that. I was going to ask you that what's the relevance of online learning? Because just like you mentioned, many years ago, learning was practically impossible online. And the only thing that people do is to do the physical learning. But now we have online learning. As a matter of fact, universities, institutions are moving into virtual learning, right? So what is the relevance of online learning to today's world?
Okay, so let me take you through Like I said earlier, I cited an example of a 14-year-old in Lagos who can learn coding classes from MIT instructors, and you can be in Lagos and you can learn from someone outside the country, right? And also, let's look at this theory, Bandura's social cognitive theory, saying that learning does not just occur through direct experience or through direct teaching, but by observing within social context. So I can say that online learning amplifies, through digital communities, webinars, virtual collaborations, even podcasts like this that we are having, right? You see different people listening to these all over the world. So the relevance, the significance of online learning cannot be, overemphasized, because the truth of the matter is we must all begin to learn to integrate digital literacy programs to help our young learners, our young people navigate the virtual academic, world confidently and safely. So it is super relevant because this is 21st century, this is digital age. You can be anywhere in the world and you're learning. Learning goes on. I have had a couple of friends who had completed their MBAs, master's programs, even PhD without leaving their country, without even leaving their homes, all thanks to the power of the internet. So we cannot overemphasize the relevance in human development, helping us learn, helping us grow, helping us, know what we did not know before. You can agree with me that there's so many things we've been able to learn online, not necessarily having to go back to school or having to ask anybody. So learning does not have to happen in the the four walls of the classroom. It can happen anywhere, and that is why we must protect our children and our learners safely from the distractions and the horrors of the social media.
Thank you for that, Dr. Tolu. So moving ahead, I would like to ask about social media. Of course, we know that so
Yes,
many content are on social media, but can we
so
consider
many.
social media as a learning platform? Can we categorize it as a learning platform? And if you say yes, and that it can be categorized as one of the learning platform, what ways are people learning on social media?
Absolutely. You can classify social media as a learning platform. People, either teenagers, young children, adults, can learn through social media. Teenagers are already even consuming vast amounts of content daily, and many are learning from it, knowing or unknowingly. You see a lot of trends out there. There's this trend, there's that trend. It all comes from social media, music, TikTok trend, Instagram trend, and all of those things. How do people learn from social media? Starting with educational influencers. Some of them use Instagram, TikTok, YouTube to teach history, science hacks, mental health tips, and career advice. So definitely we can. Even platform like LinkedIn, Pinterest, and podcast apps, people also learn through that. And I've had experiences of children who their parents have come for counseling and be like, oh, my child came up with this. And at the end of the day, when you do your research, you see that, oh, this child has learned this behavior from social media. So when we talk about learning, we must look at the positive and the negative aspect of it, right? So the question may be, are we learning positively or negatively from social media? I've worked with teenagers who have learned photography techniques from YouTube tutorials, and they've been able to apply it to personal projects. What about that? In fact, I must tell you that my son started his YouTube channel when he was 7. He's going to be 10 this year, and he's figured it out on his own. I didn't even have to help him. So if we don't give our children the opportunity to actually explore, we never can tell how much they will learn. But the question is, are they safe learning from social media? How do we put those structures in place?
Thank you so much. I was just, I was listening to you on how children of 7 years are fast learning online, doing things that ordinarily many years ago would have been impossible for them to do at that age. And again, I
Absolutely.
know for the fact that by research, it's more like the generational thing. It's a digital generation with them. Okay, so thank you so much for talking about that. I mean, the benefits of learning online. Okay, so I would like to a little bit ask you on. Of course, we have online, we have social media as part of the online. So how we know most times because it is social media and quote, there are a lot of activities that go on social media platforms. And you see a lot of time, you see young teenagers, youth trying to focus on learning, but there are a lot of distractions on, especially with social media. So as an expert, what are your advice or how can young teenagers and youth focus on online learning, regardless of the social media distraction? How can they focus using the online platform to learn?
Even as adults, there are times I would say we want to work and we find ourselves on Instagram, on social media, and we are there for the next 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 minutes. And, at the end of the day, you end up not doing those things you said you want to do. Why? Because of lack of discipline. So, how
Mm,
can we help our students? How can we help our teenagers, our young learners? How can we help them to develop that discipline, to stay focused during online classes when social media is just a click away? We can help them to use focus tools. On my phone, I've set an Instagram timer. Once I spend 45 minutes on Instagram, it reminds me that, oh, you've spent 45 minutes today. It either tells me to spend another 15 minutes or to just ignore or to leave immediately. So it's not left to me to do the right thing. And it's very important for us to help our children. Discipline comes with self awareness, goal clarity, and environmental control, honestly. So there's a lot that goes into helping children. And another thing is to create digital boundaries. It is very important. We must design a structured study environment for our children with scheduled breaks. For example, a teenager I was coaching, I think a couple of months ago. All she was doing was online school. She wasn't going to a physical school. So it got to a point that she was really very overwhelmed. She's like, oh, she's on a system from morning till evening, whole day, and it can be so overwhelming and all of that. So I said, okay, what works for you when it comes to time blocking? Do you want to complete your goal before you take a break, or you want to work for the first 20 to 25 minutes? There are a lot of productivity apps that you can use, but which one works for you? And that was why I said that when building discipline, when helping children develop discipline, it comes with a mix of self-awareness and goal clarity, honestly. So I need to know myself what works for me. If I tell myself that I'm just going to work for 15 minutes and I will take a break and go back to what I'm doing, it might not work for me because I wouldn't have been able to achieve much in 15 minutes. When working, I love to go into detail. So working for 15, 20 minutes will not give me what I want to do. Rather, I will set a goal that, okay, today I have 5 things to do today. And those 5 things I have to do today might take me 6 or 7 hours. But when I finish the first task, I will take 10 or 15 minutes break, go back to the second task, take 10 or 15 minutes break. So that way, I'm goal oriented and I'm also result oriented and I can build my discipline, right? So it's very important for us to help our children create digital boundaries, helping them with self awareness that, oh, what works for you? Another thing is self contracting. Let children to, write a focus agreement with themselves, outlining the goals and consequences. Dear learner, you have to complete your task. If you do not complete your task, you cannot go on social media. Once there's some certain time and period in my house, I collect all the tabs and tablets and phones for my children. If I want this food time, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you submit your appliances. If you're not careful, what they do is you see them playing on their phone and they're eating at the same time, playing games and they're eating at the same time. So that way, when I say, oh, when it's food time, submit your tabs, submit your phones. That way, it also reduces the time they spend on their devices, right? When I say self-contracting, I've spoken about using focus tools, creating digital boundaries and self-contracting. Make them take responsibility for their learning. Okay, I have agreed that I will complete my task. I'll complete my classes, and after that, I can do 10 or 30 minutes on social media. It's taking responsibility, right? And lastly, mindful transitions. It's very important for us to raise mindful children. Even as adults, we must be mindful and be intentional about the things we do and how we spend our time. Let us teach our learners, our teenagers, our preteens to do like a 5 minutes breathing or journaling exercise before and after their classes to reset attention. I hope we all know that in few years to come, we might have more online classes happening than physical classes. In fact, it's already happening right now. We have a lot of online schools right now. I had my third baby, a couple of weeks ago, and I was already thinking, I said, I don't want her to go to proper school. Maybe till she's like 6, 7. I want to homeschool her. There's no way she's going to homeschool her and she's not still going to do some form of online learning. Maybe she's learning rhymes on YouTube, or she's learning things on, but that must still be structured, because we don't want children who are addicted to social media or to the internet. So we must teach them mindful transitions. Take a 5 minute breathing or journaling exercise before and after your classes. For example, you have a teenager who commits 15 minutes to maybe she wants to study sprint, or she wants to learn baking, or learn crochet on YouTube. After that, followed by take 10 minutes, breaks by maybe strolling, or doing something, or talking to someone outside your the internet, or having a social connection that would help that child to live a balanced life. So it goes beyond use of social media or learning from social media. How are we able to live a balanced life while we build or develop discipline, focus, and increase our productivity? So I believe that it's important for us as educators, as caregivers, as initiators, to help children build their focus by creating structures and systems that work for them.
From what you said, I'd like to pick my question from what you said when you were talking about it's very important that we balance the activities, ensuring that they are not carried away with or engrossed with the activities online or the online school learning and stuff, forgetting the social life, right? And also engaging with people. Okay, so I would like to ask my question because in time past, we've seen a lot of people trying to learn online and say, okay, fine, because this is the new thing, I can learn anything online. And as a result, they get carried away. They become so addicted to online that they feel like every day I need to be online learning something and forgetting other aspects of life. So, at what point can a young teenager or youth realize that, okay, I am getting addicted, or better still, I am not balancing life. I am not balancing the social life or balancing things I'm meant to do. At what point, what are the things that will tell them, or what are the strike that they should look out for to know, oh, this time around I need to take a break, even when learning, right? I need to take a break. So, what are those signs?
Okay, I'm just going to go straight to that. There are always signs. You always see them. When you see a learner or a child or a young person, even an adult that is having a constant irritability when offline, you just want to be online. You just have that reason to always go to your phone, always going to Instagram, always going to Facebook. A lot of adults right now are really addicted to Instagram. Declining academic performance. You have your books to read, you have your homework to do, but you would rather prefer to go on YouTube. There was a particular pre-teenager I am working with. I'm still working with this child. He's not in Nigeria, he's outside the country, but this child will play games even when he's attending online classes. He's on his system playing games. It means that he's already addicted to games. He loves playing games and it has now become an addiction. So when you see that you have things to do, you have your academic work to do, but you'll decline and say, I will do it later. Let me just quickly finish this game. Let me just quickly finish this post, finish this TikTok video, then this person is already addicted. Also, neglect of offline friendships or hobbies. You rather prefer to stay on your phone than to hang out with real people, because what we see on the internet, honestly, what you see on social media is not always real. I can tell you, it's not always real. You see people putting on videos, putting on, these are to make you believe that their life is beautiful, everything is smooth. And I think more teenagers should hear this, right? I believe our audience is teenagers, right? They're teenagers, right? Are you
Yes,
there?
young youth and teenagers, young
Okay,
youth and
great.
teenagers.
Yeah, great. They're easily carried away. Teenagers and young people are easily carried away by what they see on the internet. Oh, see that person. Oh, see this. Oh, see that. Nobody posts their failures on social media. You're not going to see anybody's failure, anybody crying on social media, right? So if you're carried away by what you see for just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, and you begin to build your life on that, then you know that you're up for this. So when you begin to neglect real life friendships or hobbies just to spend some time on social media, you can say this person is getting addicted. Another thing is sleep disturbances due to excessive screen time. People actually have sleep disturbances and restlessness. I've seen people who wake up at 2 a.m. and they are on Instagram. 3 a.m. They just want to check something. Just that, that compulsive checking of devices. They just want to keep checking. It's a sign of addiction. You just want to keep. The first thing you do in the morning when you wake up, you're taking your phone. The last thing is, I try as much as possible to shut down from my phone, from my tabs, 2 hours, at worst 1 hour before I go to bed. And when I wake up in the morning, my phone is not the first thing I want to carry. No, that's a bad habit. I want to connect with myself. But in this day and age, you see people even practically sleeping with their phone. So that's a sign. And another thing is when you begin to have physical symptoms like headaches, eye strain, and anxiety, because when you spend a lot of time on the screen, what do you think is going to happen? You begin to get restless. You have your eyes up. In fact, there are times I tell my children, oh, mommy, I'm having a headache. I will tell you, because you spend so much time on the internet, please drop your phone and go and get something productive to do. So these are the signs that we must look at. For example, you see a teenager skipping meals or important assignment because of back TikTok marathons. What does that even know? I was on TikTok. So that's why you didn't do your homework. That's why you didn't want to come for lunch or dinner. So we as caregivers, we must put those structures in place to ensure that we help our children strain from this addiction. Honest. Let me say something about a behavioral addiction model. There's a way that your dopamine release from social media, like when you begin to have these, you feel that, oh, when I go to social media, it makes me happy. There's this thing that from always watching videos, watching content, there's this dopamine release. And at the end of the day, when you get so addicted to it, you can't do without it. It's just like people who get addicted to drugs, to drinks and all of those things. We must correct that behavior. What is the next step? How can we help children who are already showing signs and symptoms of addiction to social media? Parents, schools, caregivers should set up digital wellness check-ins. What is digital wellness check-ins? Conversations and activities that focus on healthy tech habits. Even if a child needs counseling, encourage them to go for counseling, honestly, because we have a lot of children right now who are addicted to their phones, to their tabs. In fact, there was a time I was telling my son, I said, you know what, you only have 30 minutes or 1 hour on your tab, because I don't want you to be addicted. Because the moment you turn off the TV, you want to watch the TV, you want to be on your phone, you want to be on your tab. Is that you're on your phone, or you're on your tab, or you're on the TV? That is not healthy. That is not going to help anyone. And I already said it that my newborn, I'm going to help her stay off screen time for the next 2 years. She's not watching TV till she's two. And even when she's two, or maybe 2 or 18 months, and even when she's that, it's going to be controlled, because I can see some of the mistakes that we've made as parents, introducing social media, introducing tablets, introducing phones to our children early.
Thank you so much for that. When you were talking, I was also just thinking about it that, okay, is there anything that parents can actually do to help children who are already addicted? Because most times the whole idea is they're learning on phone, they're learning online, And before we know it, the majority of them are addicted to online. And online comes with a lot of things, not just the learning platforms and all of those things, some of which are the social media as well, and some of the games and the likes. Okay, so just moving a little bit, let's tilt to the parent. Okay, so I'm happy that you've touched on some of the things that parents can do to manage the situation. Okay, so I just want you to expand more on what you just talked about. How can parents manage children who are already addicted to phones, who are addicted to digital platforms? They are not. I even heard about a story of a parent who had to hire, a social person because over the years they just noticed that the child is addicted to the phone, and everything the child wants is a phone. I want to watch this, I want to do this, I want to do that. There's no social interaction. Okay, so how can parents who are already in this situation, their children are already addicted, how can they help out? What is the way to, to breathe and help them get out of this dilemma?
Okay, that's a great question, really. For every problem, we must be able to create solutions to them. And that's one of the main goal of this podcast. Just imagine a school without a timetable. I'm sure that's one of the things that we get the first day of school, even if you've just moved to your next class or to a new school, is timetable, right? Get your timetable. And why is timetable so important? Timetables are important because it helps us put structure, systems into our lives to help us, build our productivity, facilitate our growth, and achieve our goals. But you notice that most parents, most children do not have structures and systems in their house. You come back from school, and after school, you are just jumping up and down. You have all the time in the world. You have all the internet in the world. You have your phone, your tab, and all of that. Definitely, if you do not give that child something constructive to do, he or she is going to feast on social media, on tap, and it becomes an addiction. So, as parents, as caregivers, we must begin to build structures that work, systems that work, that will help our children spend their time wisely. One of the things you can do to help someone who is already addicted is you want to look at the cause of the addiction. You must diagnose the what is responsible for this addiction. And one of the things you can use to help is use a CBT, skill training, to help this person. For example, work on this person's schedule, on the child's schedule. So when you get back from school, what do you do from 4 to 5? What do you do from 5 to? What do you do from 6 to 7? So once you've been able to structure the time and you've been able to introduce healthy habits, healthy coping strategies, healthy coping skills to replace the bad habits, to replace the addictions. That way, the child is learning to build skills, is learning to work on himself, and the addiction disappears gradually. So you cannot want to take something from a child and not ready replace it with something, even as an adult. So for parents who probably have children who are struggling, who are already addicted, what are you doing? How are you helping this child? The child probably doesn't know better, right? But you as parents must know better. And also, you must model a good behavior. So as a parent, you don't want your child to spend all day online, but you are always on TikTok, you're always on Instagram, you're always on Facebook. You must model a good behavior. You must show them how things are done. Get them books, let them read books, not only school books, storybooks, literatures that will help them, that will sharpen their minds. Let them play games, let them play outside in the nature, let them do things that are constructive. So all we just need to do to help children get better, I'll call them 3S: supervisions, systems, and structures, would help them to really, become better people and less addicted to these devices or social media.
All right, thank you, Dr. Tolu. Thank you for the insight. I mean, system and structure and the last S. I tried to get the last S. System, structure, and
And
you mentioned and
supervision.
supervision. Excellent, excellent. System,
Yes,
structure, and
please. Yes,
supervision.
please. Importantly, we must also teach digital literacy.
Mm,
Times we teach everything in school, but we
mm,
won't teach digital literacy. We introduce something digital. The internet has been introduced to the, but have we taken time to teach our learners how to use them wisely, how to use them reasonably, things they should do with the internet, things they shouldn't do on the internet, what they should learn, what they shouldn't, how to use it, and all of that. So it's very important for us to equip our teenagers with online, risk misinformation and unhealthy patterns. It is very, very important. And also, we must also create safe conversations with them. Don't judge them. Maybe a child that's already addicted or they already feel that, oh, this thing makes me when I'm online, I'm just happy. I just forget about my sorrow. You must, and welcome their conversations and also tell them that no, that's not the way to go. Be objective with them, right? And I'll also say that for families, we should set family technology agreements. Let us agree on when screen time will be, when we'll have no phone zones, when we'll have awareness check-ins. That would really help us to, put these boundaries in place.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tolu. I would also like to a little bit ask this question because we provided solutions to parents on helping their children get better with the use of online and other platforms. Okay, so let's look at a young youth who is already, moving into an adult stage, trying to help his or herself get better with the use of online platform. What are also the measures for that young youth as a person?
Okay, so I'm always trying, if I got a question, so I'm always trying to adjust to the use of digital or the use of the internet, right?
Okay, so what we've done is you've given solutions, help to parents on how to help their children, get better with the use of digital tools and online platforms. Okay, so I'm asking that for teenagers or young youth, of course, they are already adults, but that are addicted to online platform. What are your advice or tips to help them get ahead? To help them play safe and also
Oh,
manage the use of these social media and online platforms.
so to teenagers now, to them, you need to ask yourself one question. The 5 minutes, the 10 minutes, the 1 hour, the 2 hours, the 3 hours of spending on the internet or social media, is it going to help me in the next 5 years? Is it going to help me in the next 10 years? Is it productive? If it's not, then it's not worth your time. So whatever you're spending your time doing on social media that won't, contribute to your life positively, there's no point spending time doing it. If you're talking about focus. I'm just going to leave one word with them: focus. Focus on yourself, on your goals, on your learning, on your future. That's the only way you're going to spend your time wisely. Let me give this illustration. I don't want to mention names, but we have people who are really very successful. Okay, let me mention Dangote. Everybody knows Dangote, right? And it's doing very well. But what differentiates Dangote from just a man standing on the road by the roadside begging for money or something? Maybe their mindsets, the way they spend their time in the past. And the truth of the matter is everybody has 24 hours. Nobody has 36 hours. But your 24 hours can become 36 hours, can become 48 hours if you use it wisely, if you invest your time wisely. So what I'm going to tell all the young people how they're listening to this is that they must learn to spend their time wisely. Invest your time. Your time is a resource that you have that can bring you something productive. So it depends on how you use your time. If you use your time well, you're going to achieve results. But if you use your time, spend all your time on social media on things that are not productive, then you're already playing with your future. So the question I'm going to leave with you is that thing that you're watching on social media, that 30 minutes, that 1 hour that you're spending on social media, is it contributing to my growth? Is it contributing to my well-being? Is it contributing to my development? If the answers are no, then there's no point wasting time.
I thank you so very much. I think it's an evaluation that everybody should do at every point in time. It's not just a one
On
off because most times you're doing something right this month and the next month you see yourself. But if you're not doing a regular evaluation to know if what you're using your time for is worth it, is productive, I feel like it's just heading to, if I may use that word, doom. All right.
Yeah,
So thank you
we all
so
must
much,
be
Dr.
consistent.
Tolu. Yes, yes,
Thank
yes. Thank
you.
you so much, Dr. Tolu. Okay, so I just want to, just more like tapping from your secrets. Can you tell us some online platforms that youth and teenagers can begin to leverage on in terms of developing their mindset? Because you just painted, I mean, you made an analogy of the richest man in Africa with a mere man standing by the roadside, and you talk about the mindset, which is very important. So can you tell us some platforms or some help that is available to help build children mindset, and how best can someone, especially youth and teenagers who do not have access to seminars or some courses or some things, how can they benefit from, developing their mindset?
Okay, that's great. The number one platform that anybody, even if someone who has not been to school before, can learn from is YouTube. I watch a lot of videos on YouTube. I do. I do. I follow this. I'm subscribed to Jim Ron. Jim Ron videos are really great, but for young people and old people. John Maxwell. For young people and old people, just watch these videos and learn from them the things they have to say. And also, I would say that we should encourage our learners, teenagers, to read. Let them read books. I'm glad to say that before the end of this year, in fact, I would love to collaborate with TTS Initiative. So we're planning a conference for teenagers in Lagos. I have a counseling outfit for teenagers where we coach teenagers about life coaching, career coaching, counseling for teenagers. And really, teenagers, young people really need a lot of information. We don't want them to make the mistakes that we have made in the past. They must begin to learn everything about life. We are not waiting till they're like 20 something, 30 something before they start learning. Most schools will teach you English, math, physics, chemistry, biology, but many schools actually teach life skills, social emotional skills, financial literacy, digital literacy, how children can live their lives, how these people can, be responsible citizens. So it's very important that we must begin to put the resources out there. And for all the teenagers coach who are out there, we just don't want to put out information. What are the real problems, and how are we creating solutions to guide these teenagers, to guide these young people to become better people? So let them read books, watch content, follow people that look like your future. Don't be carried away by the flashy cars, because now people believe that once you're driving Benz, you've arrived, not necessarily thinking of how you arrived or how you bought that Benz, right? So we must teach our teenagers and young people to be value conscious. What are their values? Hold on to the real life values. I came up with an acronym, focus for this session. How do we stay safe, focused, and engaged? Just remember to focus in all of this distraction. Filter your content. F stand for filter. Filter your content. Follow pages that build you up and not break you down. Follow pages, follow people, follow content, build you up and not break you down. Then O for organize your time. You must schedule your time, your social breaks, and your screen free time. Time to read, time to play, time to just, meditate. Then C for check in with yourself. Check in with yourself. Pay attention to how your mind and your body feel after being online, after spending so much time on social media. Because I can tell you that everything that we have to do these days have to be on our phone. Is it that you're sending mails, or you're talking to someone, or you're chatting with someone, or you're creating a content? It has to do with the use of internet. So you must check in with yourself. Pay attention to your mind, your body, feel after being online. This is just me being holistic right now. And what does you stand for? You stand for unplug regularly. You must unplug regularly. Take digital detox breaks to refresh your soul and your sanity. We just have to ensure that we are well mentally, physically. I'm a very happy person. And for all the young people, we always tell them, see, you have to be sane, you have to be happy, you have to be well. It's not only about, oh, my mommy wants me to have distinctions in all my papers. But at the end of the day, you have distinctions in all your papers and you're not happy and you're not well and your mind is, then you've not achieved real life success. So we want to raise children, we want to raise people, we want to raise adults who are holistically well, physically, mentally, socially, financially, psychologically. Lastly, S stands for seek support. Seek support when you feel overwhelmed. Someone you trust. Your well-being, either digitally or in other aspects of your life, really matters. So you must learn to protect it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tolu. I forgot to mention that Dr. Tolu is also known as the billionaire teacher.
Oh, that's one aspect of me for teachers. Yes, billionaire teacher.
All right, all right. Thank you so much, Dr. Tolu, for sharing those tips. I mean, they are
Thank you.
very, very important, and I'm very sure that they are useful as well to not just me alone, but also to our listeners, both the teenagers, young youth, and
Absolutely.
parents. All right. So, Dr. Tolu, just as you mentioned, of course, we will continue our conversation, and we look forward to your partnership. That's the partnership on the project. So, thank you so much for coming. And at
Thank
this
you.
moment, we would like to say thank you to our viewers for again tuning in and just like regular joining our podcast session. Until we come your way another time, please stay healthy online. And don't forget, like she said, try as much as possible to seek help when you need the help, of course. Okay, so thank you so much once again. And from me to you and from Dr. Tolu together, we'd say bye for now. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.